Okay, everybody, I'm here at the El Rey Theater, or just outside the El Rey Theater. You can see it there in the background. This is the site where Kelly Jamerson was murdered. It was the night of March the 16th, 1995. Kelly Jamerson had a family, and there he was when Snoop Dogg was up on the stage throwing gang signs. The Crips that were in the crowd were severely outnumbered by the Bloods that were there. The Bloods were not going to, let this go unnoticed, and they looked for somebody to target. They found somebody in the crowd. Kelly Jamerson stood up for them and ended up paying by giving his life to this. He was so badly beaten that the only way that people could recognize him was because they knew what clothes he wore that night. Now, this is where it gets interesting. There were so many off-duty police officers that were working for Death Row Records that night at the party that this investigation was derailed before it even started. And who is it that calls over to derail the investigation? Reggie Wright Sr. Reggie Wright Sr. calls over to the investigating officer and suggests to him that too many LAPD careers would be at stake if it was found out that they had been there that night. None of those officers gave statements. None of those officers came forward. None of those officers actually tried to stop this thing from happening. And so this is the corruption that derailed the Tupac, the Biggie, and the El Rey incident, and including the Mark Anthony Bell. There's a bunch of other instances that get derailed. Now keep in mind, LAPD is the organization that destroyed 4 tons of documents about police officer misconduct. And the greatest law of police secrecy was passed as a result of a judge ruling that anybody that was targeted or in a case with a LAPD officer had access to their misconduct reports. So the LAPD responded by destroying 4 tons of documents about police misconduct. And so it's no wonder that the LAPD really does not want these murders solved. And I'm not anti-police. I love the police. We need good police officers. But when there's corruption, covering it up does not help. And these murders now need to be solved. It's time for the LAPD to come clean about their participation in these murders, settle on the money with Mrs. Wallace, with the Shakur estate, and come clean about the participation in these murders and about all of the people that have been involved in the cover-ups, including films that have been made and what have you about these murders. And this El Rey incident and Reggie Wright Sr. calling over to derail that investigation shows these guys have been involved since the beginning. And it's part of why Suge Knight is where he is right now, because Death Row Records was able to turn the system on itself by having police that were compromised at that venue. The system could not proceed in investigating and in charging the perpetrators of this crime with the murder of Kelly Jamerson. Shout out to his family. I know it's probably been hard. They've had many years where Kelly Jamerson wasn't there because of this incident, and none of the killers were ever brought to justice.